Team USA is training hard and ready for the Olympic Games. And so is Jacob.
Whoa, I've got my Lucky shirt and Xfinity Flex.
Oh, yeah. Jacob's family got Xfinity Internet with the best Wi-Fi for their home and a Flex 4K streaming box free, plus Peacock Premium included. So Jacob is ready for anything.
Go Team USA!
With medal ceremonies, highlights, interviews, and more, plus all his favorite streaming apps in one place.
Can your internet do that?
Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Peacock subscription required.
Xfinity, proud partner of Team USA.
Email or birthdays? You make the call.
Well, can't we have both?
Well, one has to come first. Oh, let's go with Josh's email. I'll hold up on the birthdays for a moment, even though we have a very important one.
Lay it on us.
Josh says, Kenny, I will pay for the shirt if you will wear one that says, China virus didn't kill me, maybe this race won't.
Oh, that's funny.
Also, he wants to know, how much do the wheelchairs cost? Maybe we could strike up a deal with his company to do something like, if you come in under a certain set time, I'll donate half of the price of a wheelchair. I'm just curious. Also, if this race does kill you, how long do I have to wait to ask your wife out?
Oh, you can immediately. No, Josh.
Oh, Josh.
Fair question.
Hurtful.
I don't want her to be alone. Wait until the life insurance.
Oh, she won't be.
Clears. I'm sure she won't. No, absolutely. So the wheelchairs are not cheap. That's the problem, right? That's why.
Yeah, that's part of the problem is we need money for the charity to get the wheelchairs for the Warriors.
But the people who make the wheelchairs are awesome. It's a company.
Oh, yeah.
It's a company called Cajun Mobility. And they're in Louisiana.
Good people.
And the charity's called Wheelchairs for Warriors, and they're here in Texas. So obviously, us, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Florida, Louisiana. That's Walton and Johnson country.
Gulf Coast, we call it.
Arkansas, of course.
First Coast.
Everybody knows that. So Cajun Mobility is up in North Louisiana there, and they build these things custom for the men and women that were injured in the line of duty, either as a cop, as a Marine, a soldier, a sailor, paramedics, EMTs, firefighters, American heroes. And they cost a lot of money. The problem is the government isn't generous with people that risked life and limb for this country, and that's the reason why Wheelchairs for Warriors exist. So it's a really important charity to us. As you know, Ronnie Cortez is involved in the charity.
Absolutely.
He's one of the people over there. These guys are heroes. I mean, they're important. Ronnie Cortez gave up his ability to walk.
Didn't give it up willingly.
No, it was one morning, if I'm not. We were on the air when it happened.
Yeah, doing his job, protecting the citizens when he got shot by some low-life scum.
In the parking lot of an apartment building. And if I'm not mistaken, that wasn't even in a bad part of town.
No, it wasn't a bad part of town, but it was in a shed in a backyard.
And that was a couple years back before crime got real bad.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's worse. So if you're a cop, our heart goes out to you, and that's why we support Wheelchairs for Warriors.
Well, tell Crystal we're going to need an update here in a little while. Tell her to, check on the donation tally and see where we are. In the meantime, we're celebrating a big, big, big important birthday this morning. The late Queen Mother Elizabeth. Yeah, born in 1900, just died in 2002. Stayed in Buckingham Palace even when London was being bombed by the Nazis, leading Adolf Hitler to refer to her as the most dangerous woman in Europe.
She wouldn't leave the Buckingham Palace for that.
No.
Wow.
And timely enough, it also happens to be Meghan Markle's birthday. Another one of the royal family. Or is she?
Wait, they have their birthday on the same day? That's funny.
Yeah.
That is AF funny.
Meghan turns 40 this morning. That's Prince Harry's wife, Duchess of Sussex. But is she? Because didn't they issue the royalty?
Yeah, they didn't want to be royal anymore. And then they quit the royal family, and then they were mad that their baby wouldn't be a prince. You can't have both.
Well, that's how people will do you.
You people make me sick. Go back to England. Get that out of our country.
Other celebrity birthdays, Cole and Dylan Sprouse. These are the kids that played on The Sweet Life, Zach and Cody. Now they're 29 years old. Dear God. One of your best buddies in the world, Chet Hanks, is 31 today.
I don't mean to brag. I chased him out of Texas.
You did. The alleged rapper of the son of Tom Hank. So, yeah, and Kenny threatened him and made him run away.
I took care of that problem. We beat up a black lady, and then he said it was going to be a white boy summer, and I was like, look, we got enough racism around here. We don't need Tom Hanks' son doing it.
Amen.
Next thing you know, he was gone. Yeah.
Roger Clemens, legendary pitcher, is 59 today. Billy Bob Thornton, 66. Richard Belzer is 77. He was always kind of a fun guy, but in a very stoic way.
Fun guy.
Fun guy. Yeah. Louis Armstrong, born on this date, 1901. The great Satchmo.
The bicycle racer. Yeah, I know.
No. Louis Armstrong.
Oh, he walked on the moon. I'm sorry.
No. Different guy.
No, different guy. He has the stretchy arms.
Satchmo.
Okay.
Jazz legend.
Not helping.
What a wonderful word.
Oh, that guy. Okay, excellent. Yeah, very cool.
Today is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Something tells me you're probably going to have one.
I'm not against a chocolate chip cookie. I think a chocolate chip cookie is pretty healthy. Yeah, it's a fun snack. Put that in your mouth and munch on it. Put those cookies in your mouth and give them a munch.
Give them a munch.
All right, this day in history brought to you by
Parfab at parfabusa.com.
If you need something fabricated, or if you'd like to learn, or if you need a job in
they
the
put
energy,
the fab in fabricated.
They really do. Today in 1753, George Washington became a master mason. It's the highest rank in masonry.
Working in bricks.
As you know, that happened before the founding of the United States.
Yes, it did. That was way before.
And it makes an interesting point, right? Sometimes we often will say, especially on our side, we'll say, well, America is a country started with Judeo-Christian values.
And Muslim.
And Muslims, right? But while that's technically true, America is a country started with Judeo-Christian values. Was it possible that a more accurate explanation is that America is a country started with Judeo-Christian values by Masons?
Well, yeah.
Because the founding fathers weren't obviously they're all different and complicated individuals with different nuances to their life, but they weren't necessarily as religious as we sometimes think that they were, but they favored religious freedom. That was why they were important.
Right.
George Washington was a Mason. Ben Franklin, he was a science guy. He wasn't real religious, was he?
Was he an expert?
I don't know. Maybe he was. I wasn't.
I bet he was an expert.
Well, he was an expert. He started the Postal Service and did some other stuff too.
I could have started the Postal Service. Big whoop.
Well, considering how much it doesn't work.
But you didn't, did you?
How awful it is. Yeah, maybe you could have made it better. Today in 1944, Nazis captured Anne Frank and her family hiding in the attic of an Amsterdam warehouse.
Boo, Nazis.
It was a terrible thing, and it's absolutely awful that happened. And is that the second highest selling book of all time, Anne Frank's diary?
You mean after the Bible?
After the Bible, yeah. Or maybe it's sold less than the Quran.
No, Kamala has a nice book out, too. And remember, they were giving it away down at the border.
Well, that'll help book sales, yeah.
You remember that? That was not that long ago. People were crossing the border with copies of Kamala Harris, Vice President's book.
That's fun. And then, and ironically, didn't, when she was a prosecutor in California, have a history?
What'd you call her?
Kamala?
Prosecutor.
Oh. No, when she was a prosecutor. No, not that.
Either way, it would have worked.
When she was a prosecutor, she deported a lot of little brown kids out in California.
Yep.
And now she's a hero to immigrants. That makes sense, right?
Come back. We miss you.
Today in 1952, the United States Air Force helicopters landed in Germany, completing the first transatlantic helicopter crossing. I think it's remarkable that back then the transgenders were doing stuff like that. A lot of people didn't even know that.
No, they did not.
Today in 1979, Jimmy Carter established the Department of Energy. Go ahead, boo that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Is that useful? Do we need the Department of Energy?
Wasn't that one of the departments
Rick Perry?
The handsome governor of Texas was going to eliminate if he got to be president?
I like Rick Perry. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Today in 1988, reparations. The United States Senate voted to give every Japanese American interned in World War II
reparations, you say?
$20,000 and an apology. Yeah. Well, they did, yeah. And today in 2012, Oscar Pistorius is the first amputee athlete to compete in the Olympics. How's he doing? Anybody know? Is he doing...
Still in prison?
I think he's out now. I think he got out because of COVID. He murdered his girlfriend, purportedly, right?
Well, they put him in prison for it, so I don't know if we have to say purportedly or allegedly anymore. I think he was convicted.
And he was not Paralympics. He was Olympics. Convicted of murder in 2015. I don't know if he's still in there or not. Maybe he is. I don't
Probably
know.
not.
Not a big Oscar Pistorius fan. I mean, I like the whole Blade Runner thing. That's cool. But they made him, one of the things they made him do in the courtroom, look, they have photos of it here online, is they made him demonstrate how he walks with no legs to show that maybe he could or couldn't have chased her down. And
Did he do that OJ Glove thing?
Good question.
Yeah, and do a little pretending?
And the woman he supposedly murdered, a babe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that was an ultimate crime.
Yeah, don't kill anyone, but especially not the beautiful. That's,
Walton Johnson always defend the hot.
we're known for it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Anything else?
Kind of famous.
Any other notable history days?
I believe that pretty much covers it.
866 I love WJ. Matt from Lafayette has been waiting patiently to say something. Matt, why don't you go ahead and tell that barking dog or child or whatever that is to calm down so you can tell us what you called to say.
That's my daughter. Yes. Morning, guys. Green beans. Change of pace a little bit. I was curious to know if any of you guys remember. It's been a while now, but on Fridays, Walton Johnson used to do a song and play a song. It was an Irish song. It had something to do with an Irish guy, and he something about his kilt.
Yeah, you might remember the song is called The Scotsman. So do you want to change your memories a little bit now?
That's okay. The Scotsman.
Not
All
Irish.
right, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but same thing, though, you know?
No. Scots
I
wear
was
kilts.
just wondering if maybe you can bring that back. You know, that
You
was
want me to
kind of
sing it?
funny and made people laugh. You know,
You want me to
Kinda
sing
funny.
it?
All right, sing it for us, Billy. I'd lay it down.
No, please don't encourage that kind of behavior.
Yeah, go ahead.
A Scotsman clad in kilt left a bar one evening fair, and something about his something didn't have no underwear, and then the girls came by and they giggled and they blew ribbon, and they all had a good time.
I get it. It's an Irish thing. Very funny.
Scotsman! Stop it!
Windy Limericks. A gentleman was a heavy drinker, a gambler, and quite a stinker. While laying a card, he farted so hard the gentleman blew out his...
So what does everybody know about the Irish? They get in fights because they're drunk. All the Irish people do is drink.
Walton and Johnson Radio Network.
One of the problems with criticizing Antifa is that I also don't like fascism, you know? It's like, I don't like Nazis, but I don't like the Antifa guys either.
Yeah?
So if they get into a fight, which side do you take?
Uh-oh.
Well, you don't have to pick a side. That's often a mistake people make, is everybody's always has this mentality like, well, it's us versus them. If you're not them, then you're us. No, that's not true. I don't have to be a Nazi or an Antifa idiot.
No, you don't have to.
But here's a story today. Some guy had a swastika flag up in his yard. And he says he's in Oklahoma guy hanging the Nazi flag. Very un-American thing to do.
Yes.
I'm Team USA. America destroyed the Nazis back in World War II, and you're not going to make me like Nazis just because I don't like Antifa. Forget that. So he's in trouble now because somebody ran into his backyard, supposedly an Antifa activist, to steal the swastika flag, and he took out a rifle and he shot this person.
Oh, boy.
I know. He shot an unarmed woman in the back as she ran away with one of his Nazi flags.
You should expect something like that from a dude that fly a Nazi flag.
I mean, flying a Nazi flag is not the smartest thing you could do, right? But also, you know, shooting someone's not smart. And then also going into someone's lawn and stealing their property isn't
private property,
smart.
yeah.
Just the whole thing, you know.
And the whole thing was just messed up from start to finish.
Right, exactly. So he says in court that that it's an Antifa activist, and that was his excuse. And boy, you're really making me struggle to figure out where I've fallen, because I don't like you or that. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to say you're all awful.
Is it a win-win or a lose-lose?
You're all losers to me.
Yeah.
You're all losers to me.
So there.
Yeah. Do we have any more suggestions for the marathon?
Oh, I forgot to check and see. We got a lot of people saying. And I also wanted to give a quick shout-out, because I just found this out, too. That gal you mentioned earlier won the 800-meter gold at the Olympic Games.
Sydney McLaughlin?
No, Moo.
Oh, Moo. Oh, yeah, Moo, of course.
It just says MU. I guess that's
M-U, M-me, M-U.
M all of you. No, MU.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's, I don't know, is that her first name? Well, anyway, bottom end, Texas Aggie.
Oh.
Yeah, Aggie Nation pretty proud of a big gold medal winner right there.
Couldn't help but notice that a lot of these great Olympians are coming from our little corner of the world recently.
Yeah,
Sugarland, Spring. There was a University of Texas lady yesterday, the Aggie today.
Yep, Katy, Texas. You know, it's pretty cool. Just saying.
I was looking up Moo. That's her last name. Ating, Moo, Ating.
But I got to assume all these people did so great just because of their close proximity to Billy Ed.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Be more like Billy Ed.
There you go, girl.
All right, so I am going to run in this marathon, and I want people to know the only reason it's interesting is because I'm not a marathon runner.
Mm-hmm.
I am very much not a marathon runner. And if you don't understand why I don't like charitable fun runs, Doug Stanhope put it perfectly.
Whatever your cause, your charity, or your drive, your effort, audit it. Make sure, because so much of it is symbolism over substance, where people think they're helping by doing nothing. Audit all the time and effort and see if you're actually affecting change, rather than just, oh, we're going to have a 10K fun run for the cure. Come on down on Sunday. It's a 10K fun run for the cure. Why? Why? When has running ever cured anything? I don't understand the cause and effect on this. Is that how Jonas Salk cured polio? Is by speed walking around the track down at St. Mary's High School with a wife beater on and a paper number safety pin to his back? Oh, we're doing it for the cure. How are you curing anything? Well, what I do is I get sponsors. And every time I go around the track another time, my sponsor gives me another quarter for the cure. So I gotta go as many times as Are your friends that sick and sadomasochistic that they wouldn't just cut you a check outright for the cure? They make you do weird first?
Monkey boy. Well, for one thing, you're not trying to find a cure for paralysis. You're trying to help people that suffer from paralysis. And yes, money can actually help.
Can pay for wheelchairs, right? It's a little different. Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to give me a quarter every time I run a mile. Just donate to Wheelchairs for Warriors.
Do what you got to do.
I'll wear a stupid outfit. I'll show up at the Houston Marathon. I'll make a scene. I'll make the Houston Chronicle employees uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We'll live stream it. I promise you I'll make it entertaining.
Old Hot Pocket here says you want to dress up as Obama and wear a Kenyan flag on your shirt. You'd be running, for Kenya.
Yeah, I'm not sure me dressing up like any black politician.
Probably should avoid doing that sort of thing.
I'm not going to do something that's going to get the radio show canceled. I still need to have a job on Monday. Even if I can't walk, I'd still like to be able to think. I need them to roll me down in front of here, just wheel me in on a cart so I can lay down in front of the microphone, all tense, my muscles all cramped up. And,
oh yeah, you're gonna be walking funny if you're walking at all for a day or two.
Good morning, guys. Here's what Biden did today. Oh, don't move me.
The marathon is on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, the next day, that Monday, I believe, is Martin Luther King Day. So you might get a day of recovery.
Okay, but here's the thing. We've never taken that day off ever.
Yeah, why not?
Well, just because.
Because we want to encourage others to commemorate the day. By commemorating it ourselves.
Well, somebody has to work that day, right? So why shouldn't it be us? But
There's
also,
a fun sign. You run better than our government.
Well, thank you.
That's a good sign.
And I don't run that well. But also, part of the reason why we never take that day off is it's right after Christmas break. Like it's a couple weeks after that. And we just took off many days for Christmas break. If we took another day off that Monday, people would hate us. Like, people already hate us.
They wouldn't hate us. They'd miss us.
Well, you should read some of our emails. People do hate us. There's no doubt about it, but not everybody.
Andrew says Diary to Anne Frank, probably in the top 10, but it's not number 2. Second best-selling book of all time, a little something called, you might be familiar with it, Mein Kampf.
Oh,
no.
Is that really the second best-selling?
That's what Andrew say.
Okay, so do you think that's the second best-selling book because it's a homework assignment or because there's a bunch of low-key Nazis out there?
Maybe some people that are curious. I don't know.
Because really, have you ever actually looked at that book? It's not really that well written or anything. It's not like... it does kind of give me the impression he's a liberal arts college dropout, which is exactly what Hitler was.
True.
When you explain, imagine this, okay? Here's a guy that thinks capitalism's evil. He loves identity politics. He wants to control speech. He wants to control your access to gun rights. He was a liberal, he was an art student. Does this sound like I'm describing a far-right extremist to you?
Or Hunter Biden.
Or Hunter, Bernie Sanders, and Simone Biles.
Didn't Adolf also do some paintings that were not that great, but actually sold for quite a bit of money?
Did he?
Much like the president's son.
Well, that raises a great point. Is modern art just a grift for money laundering?
Yes.
Because why would you buy, look at this abstract painting I made. Look at this, represents women's frustration against men, and it's a bunch of pink paint splattered on a paint. And how much is this? It's $900,000. Why is it so expensive? You know who's I think is the biggest scam? My wife hates when I point this out, too, because we go to art museums. Rothko. Oh, Rothko. Most of our audience won't even know what I'm talking about.
No, I'm familiar.
I want you to imagine a painting. It's 10 feet high, it's 11 feet wide, and it's just gray paint. And then in the middle, there's some beige paint. And this thing is worth $28 million. Why is it so expensive? Because no one's ever done that before. Well, nobody's ever rubbed feces on a canvas before either. Does that mean it's going to be worth a lot of money if I do it? Or would that just literally be crap?
It literally would be.
People get really mad at me. Art people, they're like, oh, Kenny, you just don't understand art. Do I? Or do I understand it better than you? Have you been tricked into thinking it's good? You know, it's kind of like, what's that movie? We were talking about this the other day. Boondock Saints. Everybody thinks Boondock Saints is the best movie they've ever seen the first time they watch it. And then the second time they watch it, it occurs to them, you know, this isn't that great of a movie. It's actually kind of a crappy movie, but they put classical music in during the violent parts. It tricks you into thinking that there's great cinematography.
Ooh.
But is there, or is it just a story about some British-Irish guys? What are they running around being violent all the time? Yeah, is it a good movie, or did we just think it's a good movie? Because that director never made a good movie after that. Rothko's paintings are the Boondock Saints of art, is what I'm saying.
And yet some people truly just love and adore them, and you can't afford the real thing, but you can get prints.
Mr. Kenneth, there are people that will never listen to this radio show again because I just said that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how in love they are with the ochre.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Is that his nickname?
No, that's one of his paintings.
Oh, the ochre. Who could forget that?
Yeah.
All I know is you're covered in feces, she's covered in feces. Pretend that I don't know what's going on here.
Walton and Johnson Radio Network.
Hey, good looking.
Y'all.
Never ever do that again. Never, ever. Y'all. What the hell is y'all?
Yeah, you do it. You do it.
No, now's not even.
Oh, there it is.
Son.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to be motivated. You can't just say do it now. It has to come to you. You know, when you feel it, you feel it.
If you're just waking up, there's a lot of exciting things happening today. Today we learned ID cards just overnight. Poof, not racist anymore.
Nope.
Yesterday they were racist. Now New York City's got COVID ID cards.
Now the voter ID thing, that's still racist. It's still as far racist as any racist thing has ever been racist. But all the other ID stuff, not.
In New York City, you will need a vaccine passport to go to a gym, a restaurant, a concert, a movie, you name it, Broadway plays. But anything except to vote. To vote, you still don't need an ID card.
Ain't it funny that not so long ago people were speculating and just pretty much just announcing that we'd never get to the point where you'd need a vaccine passport for you. The government, it's America. The government's never going to force you to prove that you went and got the shot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and that's just the tip of the it's just starting.
The next thing is going to be the social credit system. You know how they have that in China? In China, they have a thing called the social credit system. If you do something to criticize the government or something that isn't okay in communism, they take some of your rights away, right? But you can earn them back by criticizing America on Twitter.
That's handy.
Weird, right? It's very bizarre. That's going to come at some point to this country. Mm-hmm. Steve is on hold. Let's talk to Steve. Go ahead, Steve. What did you call to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to offer you guys some face mask exemption cards for the state of Louisiana when y'all go to GeekCon.
How do we use them? How do you know they're legit, Steve?
Well, if you read the mandate, it's pretty straightforward. Only businesses can be cited. An individual cannot be cited. in the state of Louisiana for not wearing a mask. So what they're doing is they're getting businesses to police their customers. And so what it says is operators of businesses and organizations are entitled to rely on the representations of their customers regarding whether or not they qualify for an exemption from the face covering requirements.
Well,
so it's a very clear exemption. Any individual with a medical condition that prevents the wearing of a face covering does not have to adhere to the requirements of the subsection A, where it says everyone has to wear a face mask.
Right. I've got that medical condition. I've got that, too.
Yeah,
So do I.
I've got subsection A as well. My doctor told me I've got subsection A.
Yeah, I got subsection A and B.
So for whatever it's worth, we want people to go to GeekedCon. We don't want GeekedCon to get punished by the state. If you're thinking, I love comic conventions. I mean, I really enjoy them. I like comic book movies. I like sci-fi. I like horror films. And GeekedCon is a really good comic book convention. And it just so happens here in like the 11th hour that all of a sudden Louisiana State dropped this on them. Don't hold it against GeekedCon. Instead, find a way around it. I don't know. Put on a cool Deadpool mask or something. And, just
or get that exemption thing.
Yeah, whatever.
That sounds fun.
Whatever you got to do. But, don't get mad at GeekedCon. It's not their fault.
No, they didn't ask for this.
We still want people to go. David is on hold. Go ahead, David. What did you call to tell us, sir?
Green beans, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. Go.
I was going to tell Billy Ed that why hadn't he already made a couple of $1 million off of artist painting to explain the active socialism states.
Help us out, David. What are you trying to say?
I'm lost.
He could paint him a painting all white, put a black dot in the center. What does socialism do to everybody who
I got you. Make a political statement. Last thing I painted was a barn. I'll be honest with you. I don't do a lot of painting indoors.
And was that a 5th grade art project?
No.
What? Oh, you literally painted on a barn.
Yeah.
Like somebody erected a barn and then you threw some paint on it.
The barn was already there. It had been painted before. It just needed painting again. So I painted it.
Needed an update on the paint job. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that counts as art, though, Billy Ed. When people say art, they want you to... they want.
I never said I did no art painting, did I?
I know you never did. No, but it's two different kinds of painting. Is my only point. Jesse, go ahead, Jesse. What did you call to tell us, brother?
Hey, Kenny. Just wanted to let you know when you were talking about the Boondock Saints, it was like the way you explained it. It was spot on. And I mean, you just every time you explain something and you say shows and stuff like that to go watch and. You guys got me watching Yellowstone, and there's just so many movies and shows that you guys talk about. It's awesome. I love to hear you guys. Y'all are great.
Well, thank you, Jesse. That's very kind of you. We appreciate the praise.
We appreciate that.
We get a lot of criticism. We don't get a lot of...
Well, it's easier to criticize or tear down than it is to build up, so most people go with the easiest way.
There are several men in this room, and and one boy, and we all have different opinions on things. And I kind of thought that was obvious.
Did you say one boy?
I kind of thought it was obvious that was a dig on Kenneth. Why did you immediately...
I'm just checking to make sure that's where you was headed.
No, Mr. O, you're the manliest man in the room. We know
I'm right about that.
Well, you're certainly the biggest. And the point I'm getting
I don't have to drop nothing to show you.
No. Keep that on. Keep your pants on.
Just hold on.
Easy there.
Yeah, okay.
The point I'm getting at is we all have various tastes, right? So if collectively we all agree that like Silicon Valley is a good show, probably it's a really good show. Because to impress all of us is very difficult.
That's true.
Tales from the Tour Bus.
Now, we might like different things about the same show, but it still makes it a good show.
Oh, Yellowstone's fantastic, dude. What's up with that? When are we getting it again?
The fall is what I'm hearing, but could be any time between now and Christmas.
All right, another show we've been waiting on is Better Call Saul, and we find out he gets sick in the desert, right, while he's filming the show.
Well, he had a heart attack in the desert. In real life, I don't think they're going to include that in the show.
So it's very hard for people to ignore that happened to him right after he got vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that's why.
But you can't say it's not, because you just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Somebody emailed us about this little situation here, and they brought up a pretty good point, I think, because it was in the news, and I didn't think much about it because people just go around making stuff up all the time. Did I miss something? How is it that the CDC is allowed to issue an eviction moratorium.
Doesn't make any sense, does it?
No sense at all. The CDC, as we've been told when we first started talking about this thing, is not part of the government.
Nope.
No. And they said, well, it's not part of the government. They got real sassy about making sure that, it's not. Well, then how the hell are they being allowed to issue orders? I don't get that.
So technically, part of the CDC is government operated, and part of it's operated by private medical practitioners and stuff like that. I'd heard a similar thing about the National Institute of Health.
I guarantee you this cahoots for sure.
Okay, right. Well, so technically the CDC is and isn't part of the federal government, right? That makes it a little confusing. But how do they have control over rent? 60 more days of rent moratorium. Question for you.
Well, doesn't that take Joe Biden out of any responsibility?
Yeah, and yesterday Joe Biden gave he gave a TV address.
The Democrats were mad at Joe for not extending the eviction moratorium.
But now he
he didn't have to because the CDC did it for him.
Right, exactly.
So he's off the hook, and yet he didn't do anything.
Under his orders. Why didn't he make the announcement yesterday? He came out and gave a TV address.
He really can't.
Moments after he wraps it up, the CDC announces that the Biden administration is extending the rent moratorium. Now, hang on. The president just talked to us minutes ago on TV.
Yep.
Why didn't he mention that? Because Joe Biden doesn't want to be associated with Joe Biden's policies. If he is, then he can't argue that he's a moderate. Because most normal Americans realize just because you're a landlord doesn't mean you're filthy rich. You're not some guy wearing a cape. Bring me the rent. I must have the rent.
Yeah.
Like in an old movie or something. There's plenty of landlords out there that are just middle-class people, and some of them rely on that income in order to make a living. Well, what about them? Don't they matter? AOC knows that. AOC is dumb, but she's not a complete moron.
She's a little idiot, though.
The point of all of this isn't to protect you from COVID. It's to transform the country into something that it's not. It's to take it from something that you enjoyed and turn it into something that it isn't. It's something that you won't enjoy, but something that they might. Something that vividly resembles an Orwellian nightmare. And that's what you're living in.
Yep.
That's what you've been living in this whole time. Are you having fun?
Oh, you has a thrill a minute.
What would you say you do here?
Walton and Johnson.
I stopped at a roadhouse in Texas. It was a little place called Hamburger Den.
Hamburger Den?
And I heard that old
Hamburger Den? Is that what he said?
Yeah, I played what?
Somehow we got all over Billy Ed's music at the end of the show.
Yeah, it was an accident, I'm sure. I don't know how that happened.
I was going to play Tool, but instead we played Buck Owens.
Yeah, I saw that you got to play Tool and play anything else but Tool. How about that?
Did you switch? I like Tool, you know?
Yeah, I like Buck.
Some of our radio stations play that music all the time, and they get really high ratings.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, don't tell them that they're wrong. You know?
Did I say they were wrong? But I said I like Buck.
You could set your wristwatch to Buck Owens' haircut. And what's his band called?
Straight. The Buckaroos.
The Buckaroos. That's a great name for a band. All jokes aside, that is a fun name for a band.
What was the backup band for Porter Wagner?
Oh, the Porteroos? Or?
The Wagoneers.
The Wagoneers. Okay, right.
Of course.
Yeah. Well,
duh.
That stuff's a little before my time, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, count yourself lucky.
I got to admit, we listened to a Morgan Wallen song during commercial break. Not that impressed.
No, didn't really need to share that with everybody.
It didn't really punch me in the chest the way I like a song to the first time.
Oh, I'll punch you in your chest.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Fun things are afoot here at the Walton and Johnson Show. We're going to be at GeekCon coming up. We're going to be in Rome, Georgia coming up. So tell your buds about that. But I'm told that right now, at this exact specific moment,
some more travel involved?
We're going to be heading back across the Gulf Coast right now.
Again?
For the second time this morning.
Yeah, for a guy.
We're going to Florida Man. Florida Man brought to you by...
Wait for it.
Florida Man does whatever a meth head can. Snort a line all the time. Went to jail, drank some wine.
Watch out.
Here comes the Florida Man.
Brought to you by AncientLifeOil.com, where you get that good CBD and all the stuff that goes with that.
If you want some good CBD, go to AncientLifeOil.com, promo code WJ. Shipping is on us. How cool is that?
Probably try that for health purposes before you go to a guy pretending to be a doctor.
And this happened in Florida.
In Florida, there's a 76-year-old man named Gary. Dr. Gary, he likes to be called. He just pretends to be a doctor.
Okay, he's not really a doctor.
This came to the attention of the authorities after he attempted to perform an at-home castration on a 55-year-old man.
Good.
This did not go well.
So was this a sex change?
Nope. Well, it is now. He had an amateur surgery set up, and he met a guy online and talked the guy into, I guess the guy wanted to be castrated. There's all kinds of weirdos online.
According to what I'm seeing here, he wanted to be a eunuch. It was a eunuch website.
I read that, but I didn't know what a eunuch was.
All right, have you ever seen the movie History of the World Part 1 with Mel Brooks?
Probably, but I don't remember.
Eunuchs are dudes with no, well, I guess it's in Game of Thrones, too.
Yeah.
They're guys with no penises. They cut off their, because they don't want to have them.
And this guy wanted that.
He got out, what's weird is he got all the way to age 55, and then he decided. Huh.
Well, the authorities came to the situation that they were called to. They found the patient in the rear bedroom of the Dr. Gary's home, where he was bleeding uncontrollably and holding a bloody towel to his groin area. They said the man had driven about 100 miles to Dr. Gary's house from his home in St. Petersburg, where he lived and worked. The man's testicles, removed during the procedure, were in a pink container on a bedside table in a makeshift operating room. Blood all over the floor.
Oh, my God. They've got a photo.
Jesus, look at this.
We have to describe some of this. So there's a thing of Clorox wipes, and that's the only clean thing in the photo.
Well, yeah.
There's blood everywhere. It looks like they bought some sheets at Walmart and covered them with a thin, transparent plastic. There's 2 laptops on the bed. I'm guessing he watched a YouTube video.
Sure.
Of course.
How to castrate people, I guess.
And then is that a box of snacks on the nightstand, or what's going on?
He also had some powder that is used to treat wounds suffered by dogs and cats in a veterinarian office.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, there was a Nikon camera set up on a tripod used to record the surgical procedure.
Well, why would you want to document it?
Boy, I don't know. Maybe he thought it was going to go well.
He thought, but even still, look at the room
What the hell is a soldering iron doing in there?
Well, you got to stitch it up, I guess. Are you seeing a photo of this guy? He looks like Ted Kaczynski.
Look at the blood on the floor. It's running everywhere.
Right, exactly. Yeah, well, it's quite a mess there. Looking at the guy's mugshot, would you let that guy operate on you?
Well, clearly, we're all more normal than that guy.
You know what's weird is the blood splattered all over the floor looks more like art to me than a Rothko painting. There's more creative semblance there of this maniac's at-home botched surgery.
Apparently, Dr. Gary told the police that he's done 2 other castrations. One he performed on himself without the aid of painkillers.
No way.
And he said he removed his right testicle in 2012. Said he grew up in Minnesota. They castrated the bulls all the time, so he had a lot of experience. By the time he started his 3rd castration, though, his eyes, again, the guy's 70-something years old. His eyesight was fading. His hearing had been diminished because he was in Nam and has artillery ear.
That'll happen.
That's a thing.
We watched a video earlier of a grandpa from Vietnam sitting on the porch with his nephews, and he wanted to mess with them, so he started just put some fireworks under their lawn chairs just to screw them.
Oh, dear
They
God.
all freaked out, but it was nothing compared to what, what he'd seen.
Which one of these idiots is the Florida man? No. A dude that thinks he's a doctor, or a dude that wants somebody to castrate him in the back bedroom of his house?
And all of them, I guess, because it happened in Florida. I hate to be the guy to point this out.
I think the nutball here is the one who went for surgery.
Well, that's true. That's absolutely the crazy. And why isn't he in any trouble? Also, question for you. We know a little bit about bull castration.
Yeah.
That's not how you castrate a bull.
No,
or how
that ain't the way to do it.
Billy, give us the Cliff Notes. It involves a rubber band?
Well, these days you just rubber band them, and they'll just drop off in a couple of weeks all by themselves.
So you're telling me, isn't that like, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this word on the air, a you-know-what ring? Doesn't that what a you-know-what ring does?
Well, I guess if you left that on, you're not supposed to leave them in place for that long.
I'm only aware of the fact that they exist. I'm not any kind of expert at using it.
What's a you-know-what ring?
Oh, Mr. Kenneth knew immediately.
Well, yeah. I'm not familiar with the...
If you go into a marital aid store, they sell a product...
I don't do that.
...that looks like a rubber donut, but it's not a rubber donut, so don't put it in...
hemorrhoid donuts?
Not
at all.
Not quite.
Not at all.
No.
Close, but no cigar.
No, Billy, that's not what this is.
I don't
no.
like the way this is heading.
I know. I don't like it either.
Let's get out of Florida. What do you say?
Oh, my God. I got to get these photos off the screen. Horrific.
That is so disgusting.
That is like a nightmare come to fruition.
Ugh.
Dear God. What have we? We live on the same planet as those people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And you know what? They probably get to vote.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. Well, yeah, and there's people arguing to keep their voting rights despite what they've done. Let's quit talking about all this gross stuff so I can tell you about Flaming Hot Cheeto ice cream. It's here, but it won't be around for very long. Ice cream is a surefire way to beat the heat in the summer, but what happens when you add fire to it? Marble Slab Creamery partnered with Frito-Lay's Flamin' Hot Cheetos to create a new creamy and dreamy concoction. Spicy and cheesy corn puffs in an ice cream flavored treat. It's a mashup of Cheetos Flamin' Hot ice cream and Cheetos Flamin' Hot they have shakes and ice cream. It's ice cream with the corn puffs.
I just don't see why they want to mess with something that's all ice cream we had ate pretty good, didn't it?
The flavor features Texas-based Marble Slab Creamery. Is that still Texas-based?
I don't know.
Their office used to be right over here, but I'd heard that it moved. And
did it move?
Did it move? That's very clever. There's a part of me that's curious.
If you want ice cream that tastes like Flamin' Hot Cheetos, just grab a bag of Cheetos, stomp on it, and then shake some of the dust into your ice cream. How about that?
It does look appetizing, but that's because maybe it looks like a strawberry-looking thing.
Well, go try it and let us know what you think tomorrow.
Yeah, stick that cream in your mouth there, Mr. Kenneth. All right, everybody. John, you got anything?
Don't forget, boys and girls, to
eat it every day.
Show's over.
And we're done.
We've already run out of time again.
And this is where we say goodbye.
Goodbye. Don't say goodbye.
We'd like to hang around and help clean up. That ended well.
That is an instant classic.
Walton and Johnson.
The rich and powerful want us to think the economy is a line on a stock market ticker. That's wrong. The economy is powered by us. It's what we create, what we buy, what we need. President Biden has proposed bold public investments in jobs and families, but more is needed. We need housing, healthcare, caregiving, action on the climate crisis, and millions of good-paying jobs. This is our moment to finally unlock prosperity for all of us. For more information, go to prosperus.org. That's prosperus.org.
The sale's on at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com. Stock up for school with 40 to 70% off almost everything and deals from $13. Find it all at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com through August 10th.